Some.
I mean, let her hand come up, yeah? Oh, good with that. See, that's... Well, hi, everyone. Can y'all hear us? Cool. Well, can someone say something?
Hello?
There we go. Hello, yes.
Hola. You still here?
They've been here since 3 p.m. just to get in, and you see it's crowded. And also, that they opened the other theater.
Not the upper deck.
It's the upper deck, and there's another theater they opened up because this one got too packed.
Yes.
Yes.
That means a lot. Thank you for coming.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. Well,
Having been there, that theater's huge.
They were waiting for that.
That's amazing.
well, I guess we'll get the Q&A started. I guess I have to talk Q&A here. Well, for you all probably don't know on Zoom, but I am Professor Robinson. First time seeing it, and I was like, I waited to see it here because I wanted to have that first experience on like how amazing it is. Introduce so if you don't mind, can you introduce each one of you all and tell us what part you took in this bringing this amazing film together?
Absolutely. We can start with us. We're like Dumb and Dumber over here. Yeah. We're sharing a screen. I'm the director, Joel Crawford.
As long as they can.
Could you guys hear Mark?
No, we couldn't, Mark. Say it one more time for us, Mark.
We can't. The audio's off.
Oh, man, Mark.
If you need to, Mark, you can squeeze in here.
Mark, come on over, man. About man.
There we go.
Yes.
Mark!
I'm the producer. Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah.
I'm Heidi Gilbert. I'm the head of story.
And I'm Nate Ragg. I'm the production designer.
Oh, that's the other. So this is the other. Yes.
Oh my goodness!
Hey, everyone.
That's awesome. They've never done this in SCAD before. They've never had to do this.
So I want to get to some questions for the students as well, but not yet, I'm coming. One thing I wanted to, I guess I'll have an overall question, is we know that the Puss in Boots, the original one was in 2011, if I'm not mistaken. And one thing I've noticed, I know everyone else have noticed, that the style has changed. So, inquiring minds want to know, this is a question for the whole group, why, which is a good thing for me, but why and what was the process?
I think I'll jump in, but really Nate Ragg, the production designer on this, like, man, they took this and ran with it. So really, it's been so long since the last movie that for us it was just like, we want to pick up with the characters, the legacy of the world that everybody loves, but man, it's been so long, like, why not? Like,
What happened? We dropped out?
We left there, why not?
Oh, okay. Can you hear us now?
Yes,
are we
yes.
You're back, you're back. Nate Ragg, take it away. Nate.
Yeah, Nate, if your sound's working.
Yeah, can everybody hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah, so when we all got together and we're talking about sort of the vision that we wanted to bring to this movie, we didn't want to just sort of hit the sequel button in every phase, you know, from story to design. We wanted to really create a film and a story that, you know, expanded on the character. And so part of that is expanding on the world. And we wanted to go back to sort of Puss's roots as a fairy tale character from fairy tale illustrated books and try to sort of infuse this fairy tale world that he lives in with a little bit of a contemporary illustrative spin. And so we kind of found this really nice space where the world could be a bit more illustrated. And because of that, it allowed us to really kind of take Puss's story to totally new places that felt like it hit the tone a lot stronger rather than just trying to sort of match some kind of photorealistic quality. Which I feel like from a story perspective, you know, Joel and Daniel and Heidi, that was something that you guys really took advantage of, and I felt like we really kind of connected on.
That's great, that's great. So speaking of story, I'm gonna go give this question to Heidi. So, well, I teach the story and concept track, so I do most of the storyboarding and things like that for students. So there was a lot of camera angles in those action scenes. So how fun was that boarding those, and what were the decisions that you decided as you were storyboarding that would be best for the film?
That is an excellent question. I feel like with the giant fight, Joel and Daniel can probably speak more to that because layout really took that to a whole other level. For the wolf fight, that was storyboarded by a great board artist called Anthony Holden, and he's just an amazing action board artist, and we stuck pretty closely to his shots that he boarded for the final, I would say. I don't know if you guys want to chime in.
This is the weirdest thing.
Oh, so I guess our sound is
So is our sound crap? Can you guys hear me?
No, it froze, but we got you now.
Okay.
Just speak slowly.
I know, it says, I'm getting a message, your internet is unstable. Should we go to Mark's office?
Come next door.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's a good thing, and the production. This is, I love this.
So, you can hear me all good?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, you know, with Daniel and I, we're both, we came up as storyboard artists, and, you know, in doing so, as story artists, you kind of discover your own sensibilities. And for us, this movie had a spaghetti western sensibility, but also like a high octane, like action sensibility that like anime inspired, Matthew Vaughn kind of Kingsman action. And so I think a lot of things we would throw kind of a philosophy to Heidi and the story team to take it and run with. Like for the giant fight in the opening, we wanted everything to feel like a smooth, like choreographed, even the sound of the action is synced to the music. It feels effortless, and you feel like you're just following on the cape of a superhero. Through that fight, you don't feel like he's in danger, because he doesn't feel like he's in danger. And then using like quick cuts, like say when he's fighting the wolf, to contrast it where you're like, what the hell's happening? Like just looking for every opportunity to visually bring the audience into the psychology of the characters, you know, and storyboarding is just such a fun way to visually tell the story, you know?
Yeah, because you storyboarded, like, that was like, what you're in your early stage, you started storyboarding first before you started directing, correct?
Yeah, Kung Fu Panda.
I just
the first
wanted
Kung Fu Panda.
jump in and say Joel and I went to school together at CalArts, and he did a student film while we were at CalArts that's very similar, like action sensibilities, I would say, to this movie, because it was very anime inspired, I thought, but yeah.
I always loved action, and but yeah, and I mean, I think all of us, we would just, like between Heidi, Daniel, myself, like we'd be in editorial and we'd just sit there and just draw on Post-its, and just as quick as you can, you're just trying to reframe, restage, figure it out, right?
Yeah, we're always like wanting to push the cinematography, because like I assume all of you were just all big movie nerds, right? And we always just want to push visual storytelling, so with layout even in that process. And animation too, we kept like wanting to push lenses, push framing, you know, cheating, breaking models, just to get like the coolest kind of composition,
Yeah.
right?
We'd reference a lot of, like I said, spaghetti westerns moments, like when Goldilocks and the Three Bears burst in on Puss in Boots in Mama Luna's. Remember, Daniel, you were inspired by the Once Upon a Time in the West, and at the train station.
Yeah.
Just like moments like that.
Always looking for frames within frames, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that stuff helps us from a production design standpoint, knowing that the directors and head of story have such a strong vision for that kind of tone. We really, in a lot of cases, we took panels that you guys had just doodled on Post-it notes, and it ends up becoming the final frame in the shot, because we didn't want to deviate from how strong of a vision you had for some of those compositions. So it really kind of, for us, artistically helped follow through on the back end as we were lighting and surfacing and compositing everything together to make sure we were really striking that fairy tale spaghetti western vibe you guys were going for.
So what programs did you all use? I know you said texturing and things like that. So what were the programs you used to texture and model? Like, what are the programs you used to get this production done?
From a pipeline standpoint, we didn't necessarily develop any new texturing software from sort of what DreamWorks typically uses. What we did do, which I think was more on sort of an innovative side, was because we were chasing this more illustrated look, we developed tools that allowed us to apply texture to objects in a 3D way that we could move the camera anywhere and that texture would exist anywhere and would allow us to dial it up to be stronger, like a heavier looking painted quality to objects, or less. And we called that CEO, which stood for crap enveloping an object, and which sounds really technical. But basically, if you are able to look at some of the shots, if you look in the center of the frame, you'll see things are a bit more clean and dialed in the way an illustrated painting would be, more refined. And then it got more impressionistic as the framing went wider in the frame. And that was us dialing those tools up. Because it would have been too heavy, too expensive, too time-consuming to put that level of surfacing detail on every single object in the whole movie. So it allowed us to sort of procedurally give it that illustrated feel. And those are the tech wizards on our team, like Mark Edwards, our VFX soup, and Baptiste Van Opstel, our head of look, that really spearheaded the technical implementation of some of those visions we had in heart.
So I see Mark kind of got off a little camera.
Get in here, Mark.
This is the question.
Look, this is normal. Joel and Jen just pushed me out of the way of it.
So being you're the producer, correct? So in the I have a lot of we have a lot of students in the animation field that want to get into being a producer on a show, which is like basically overseeing everything. So how was it for this specific film? Because I know.
Yeah, this film, for various reasons, we had less time than we normally do. And so that presents a challenge when you're making the film. So I think one of the highlights for me was very early when Joel, Jan, me, Heidi, Jim Ryan came on, our writer Paul, we basically became a writer's room, and we had to develop the outline and the framework of this movie in, I think it was like less than 3 months, and pitch it back to the studio, and then it was immediately going into production. And so I would say the joy of this movie was finding the movie in that room together like a writer's room, and just throwing up ideas and trying to come up with jokes and trying to make the other people laugh in a way. And it was amazing. I've been on so many movies, and this is my favorite experience. I've worked in animation 30 years. And what makes a film a great experience is, it's a couple of things, but one is you love the project, you love the characters, you love the direction you're going in. That's huge. But it's also you love the people you're working with. When you work on these movies, you work 2, 3, 4 years with the same group of people, and you become a little family. And it's much better to be a fun family than a dysfunctional family. And this was a real fun family for us on this movie.
And I'm just jumping in, like, you know, I think there's a lot of different roles producers take from live action to animation, even between animation projects. But in addition to, like, Mark, he's always so calm with the schedule, even when it's crazy. And to have him in that role going, like, he knows what we can and can't do. And for us as directors, when Mark, like, he's never like running around going, everything's on fire. It's the opposite, where he's calming us when we can do this, so that when he goes, hey, this is gonna be hard, then it means something to us of like, oh, okay, I know where we stand. In addition to that, Mark has such an amazing big picture sensibility and great with character, and so he's always in editorial with us. We're saying, we're in these writers' rooms, and that's something for those who are interested in producing, that still understanding, you know, production and everything, but understanding storytelling is essential as well.
I mean, just a couple of things for those people who want to be producers. You've got to know what the movie is about. You've got to know what the vision of the movie is. What are we trying to do? And figure out how you're going to support that, because everything has to point in the same way. And if there's at all doubt or people sort of picking apart what the vision is, you're going to struggle. So you've got to make sure that's the clear vision and everyone's following that path. And the other thing I'd say, and this is something they would never teach you, but you know, I think we've all learned along the way, find a way that you treat everyone, like not just you, but the directors and everyone, that you create an environment for the people who work in the movie, that everyone is pleasant to each other, everyone listens, everyone's respectful. Joel and Jan and Heidi and Nate and everyone on our film, I think, actually wanted to know what people thought of the film. And there are so many times on this movie, because of the environment, because of the way we treated the staff and how we worked, people's ideas would come back to us. We would show the movie at all the different stages along the way to the crew, and it was amazing how many great ideas would come out of those discussions afterwards from people. Because here's the simple fact, you don't know everything. Other people, we have hundreds of people who work on the movie, they're gonna have great ideas. If they're encouraged and they're led to feel part of the team, they're gonna share those ideas, and it makes the movie better.
To see some old